I thought it went really well. We played pretty well right there in the middle of the season, and I think the last couple of weeks we stumbled a little bit, but we'll learn as a coaching staff. We'll back off a little bit next year on some of the conditioning and some of the practices, and hopefully they're a little more fresh going into the final few weekends. But we're playing tough teams too. We're playing Chico State, Sonoma State, and some of the top teams in the conference. But overall, it was a tremendous success, like you mentioned, the most wins in the last decade here. But I think more importantly, we set a foundation for SS State baseball being somebody to reckon with within the CCAA.
Good job, Ryan. Go, Nick.
We had a different group of guys kind of meshed together. We had the returners that had been in the program the last 2-3 years. We had the new guys that I had brought in about a month before the school started. And then we had some guys that we kept from our tryout on campus. So we had 3 different groups of guys that meshed pretty quickly. And I would say that the fall was the key, fall ball. We spent a lot of time together in the fall ball. We did a lot of community service. We practiced quite a bit on the field. And I think the guys started believing in the fall that this group can win some baseball games, and it kind of carried over to the season. Really proud and happy for those young men. It is a team sport, obviously. It takes all 35 guys to do what we did, but some guys get recognized at the end of the year for individual achievements, and we had 4 of them. Senior Ryan Burke, well deserving, in the DH first base spot. Chris Nicholson, like you mentioned, he had a big weekend. I'm sure San Bernardino voted for him, first team. I think he had 3 home runs or 4 home runs that weekend at San Bernardino. Bryce Brooks was, a super utility guy for us. Kind of ended up being the shortstop the last 25 games or so, but he plays at first base, second base, DH, and very well deserving, hitting over 330. And then Miles Franklin, which was, he was voted our most inspirational player. And also our top offensive player by our team and our team awards, what the players vote on. He was up to the last 2 weeks of the season. I think he was up in the top 5 in most categories within the conference. And it was his first full season in 2 years, so he hit a little bit of a wall, and he'll learn from that, and I think he'll finish strong next year.
Okay.
Absolutely. Connor Frazier was our third baseman this year, just a grinder over third. We kind of nicknamed him Roger Dorn from Major League over third base because he was willing to get in front of any ground ball and wear it. But he has some of the quickest hands at the plate. We spread him out. Probably bad coaching. It took me half a season to figure out to spread his feet out, and I think he probably hit close to 330 the rest of the way. Joey Chetted, one of the most talented guys I've been around in a long time. Big arm, low 90s guy, ended up being our closer near the end of the year. Closed that big game at East Bay.
Yeah.
But he got our season going with the game-winning home run to start the year, and then halfway through the year he made got the game-winning hit versus Cal Poly Pomona all on a walk-off, and then made the game-saving play against Cal State LA to sweep that series. So Joey was had a big impact on the team this year. Shane Martin, lefty specialist out of the bullpen. One of the first guys I trusted out of the bullpen, lefty or righty, at the plate. He gave us some really solid innings, but team leader at practice as well. Kind of ran the bullpen. Reyes, obviously one of our top pitchers, became our Sunday starter. And the reason I put him there, he easily could have been a Friday starter. But the reason I put Peter there was he either was going to win the series for us or he was going to salvage the series for us. And the way he did the last 2-3 weekends, which was pretty phenomenal. And I'm. baseman. Ryan struggled early, but you could never tell, and his body language came to practice every day and was phenomenal in practice. Team leader, captain, and then probably about halfway through the year, he found it with a bat and one of the top hitters in the conference the last 2.5 months of the season. It was tremendous, and like you mentioned, all-conference player. Yeah, we have high expectations. We're going to be returning most of the juniors that had good seasons for us, a couple of the sophomores, and then of course one of the freshmen in Pashota who had a solid season out of the bullpen. But the key to building programs is recruiting. It's the bloodline of programs, and Coach Lattori's done an incredible job throughout the fall and the season. I think he can recite every junior college lineup on the West Coast for me, but. We've signed some really, really talented players. We're going to shore up our defense. Looking back, we were 23-25, but there's probably 4 or 5 games there. If we play catch a little bit better, we're knocking on the door of a playoff in that last game against Sonoma. So we shored up our defense quite a bit with some really good signings. And on the mound, we've added some bigger arms that'll give us some bullpen depth. We feel like we have some really good starters in Moreno, Hauser, Bonet coming back. All experienced guys. We added a guy, Andrew Najib Brush from Mission College. Has a chance to be a weekend starter for us as well. And then I think Brett Montgomery is going to compete for a starting spot this fall. That he's going to be working on a third pitch this summer. So we've added good defense. We got guys that can create havoc on the bases. We added a couple of middle-of-the-order lineup guys from the junior college level. We added some depth to our pitching, and I think it's going to be an exciting team next year.
And that's the ball game. Final score: your Gators 5, the visiting Seawolves of Sonoma State 2. We'd like to thank you for another great season of Gator baseball. Until next year.
We really appreciate all the support this year, all the emails, all the phone calls. It was continuous even when we were struggling a little bit, beginning of the season. Kept the guys up, and I think you can be proud of what the Gators did this year and moving forward.